Hi guys, welcome to Soul's Note Evolution. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. This is going to be your timeless tarot for whenever it is that you're tuning into the channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right, we're using the psychic, what's this called? The psychic tarot. Let's see what we've got going on. Ooh, material and spiritual prosperity and moving on. So that's got to be, ooh, Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, 6, 6, and then spiritual strength. I nearly said 666, but I was seeing the 9 upside down. That's so weird. Spiritual strength here. I love this. I love this. I love this. 9 is an energy of freedom. It's a very spiritual energy. It's lessons learnt. And because we've got moving on down here, I feel that you're just at the end of a cycle. You're at the end of a cycle, whatever cycle you've been in, you've understood that whatever lessons that cycle came to teach you, it's like I feel as though you've got the memo, you've got the lesson, you've learnt the lesson, and you're now moving on. You're now moving on. I don't know if you've come into some sort of material prosperity, some sort of spiritual prosperity. We've got spiritual strength here. So whatever cycle you've been in, I just love how he's kind of propping up, holding up the roof of that building or whatever it is that he's inside. This statue in the background's holding this up. So I don't know if you felt as though you've got you were the one that had to hold up a situation for, on behalf of other people. Or you felt as though you had like almost the weight of the world, you were carrying a lot. This is like the 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands energy in the traditional tarot. But I see you dropping all of that shit. Whatever it was that you were propping up, holding up, the lesson may have been in that previous cycle, an understanding or coming to a realization or an inner standing that whilst you may be, very capable, whilst you may have felt obligated in that previous cycle to sort of assume that role of holding everything to fucking together, the lesson may be you come into that inner standing, well, that's not your job. That's not your role. That's not your responsibility. So I feel as though you're moving on, you're moving away. Whatever this situation was where you were required to adopt this position, I say, yeah, it was just full of obstacles. It was just full of challenges. Very precarious. You couldn't move forward. It seems as though there wasn't a straight path for you to reach, I don't want to say like alignment, but for you to get from A to B, it just wasn't possible in the previous cycle, which is why you're sort of moving on. I feel as though there may have been some sort of reward that the universe bestowed upon you. And if this wasn't the universe, it's Pentacles energy, it very well could have been manifested through, a very human experience. So it could have been you receiving money from, I don't know, an organization or from a payout or some sort of windfall of money, which has put you in a position for you to move on, for you to move forward. You have been, or you are very connected to your intuition. 6 is a very, very intuitive number. It feels as though whatever difficulties that you had to face, you're overcoming them. You're in the process of overcoming them, or you need to overcome them. It depends where you're going to be on the timeline. These are general readings. I feel as though because you've exhibited, if that's the right word, such spiritual strength, the reward that came in, like I say, it may not just be a monetary or financial, it's spiritual prosperity as well. Spiritual prosperity. And because your intuition has been guiding you, or you've been listening to your intuition, it's kind of either told you or it's telling you it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to put down whatever it was that you were carrying, and it's time for you to move forward into calmer waters, like I say, where you will not be obligated to carry the weight of a relationship, a family situation, a community situation, a work situation. It could be whatever. These are all minor arcana cards. We've got no majors so far. So Let's see what we've got going on. Right, show me this material and spiritual prosperity and moving on for the collective. Show me this energy, Spirit. Right, Four of Wands, happiness, celebration, firm foundation. I actually want to put them this way. I saw the Seven of Pentacles before I saw the Four of Wands. I feel that whatever seed you've planted, whatever it is that you've invested in is going to lead you towards a reason to celebrate. It's going to provide you with a really solid, stable, firm foundation. And I love it. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can. There's like a series of white dots in the soil here. And if we hold these cards like side by side, it's like the dots continue. There's a continuation. So whatever it is that you've planted, as I'm saying about the reward that you're going to get, whatever it is that you've done, whether this seed could be very representative of, money that you've invested or time that you've invested, or like I say, spiritual strength that you invested in a situation, it's going to lead to stability. It's going to lead to happiness. I'm feeling a real sense of freedom here. A real sense of freedom. So this could be financial freedom that's coming in for some of you. As I said there, material and spiritual prosperity, which leads to some sort of financial freedom, you being able to do what you want, when you want, go where you want, with whom you want. That kind of energy. Right, show me more about this, Spirit. Show me more about this message. Ten of Swords. Right, show me this Ten of Swords energy. I just feel that something is over. I don't feel as though this Ten of Swords is a prediction. King of Swords. I don't feel that this Ten of Swords is like a prediction of, backstabbing to come. I feel that this is a releasing of the pain. A releasing of the thoughts that are attached to an experience or a situation. This is a closing out. This is you accepting the way that the King of Swords is looking over at this scene here, and he's got this huge crow. I don't know. Oh, it's actually sat on a sword. It's not even his sword. He's got a sword in his hand. But we've got a crow that's sat on top of a sword here. And crows, it's like communication. It's messages that are coming in. And it's sat on the sword of truth. So I feel as though you're seeing a clarity, or you're seeing a truth about an experience where there may have been betrayal, there may have been backstabbing. It was very, very painful, mentally painful for you to endure. And this could have even been you propping yourself up, if this wasn't you propping up an external situation or place or person or group. You've had to be spiritually strong to get through a situation where this happened. King of Swords intellectualizes more than he does feel. So there could be now an intellectual processing of this pain. Rather than you like submerging yourself in the feelings associated with that pain, there could be an intellectualizing of it. This is Aquarius energy. So you're seeing this clearly. You're thinking about this clearly. You may be communicating about this. Whether it could be because the King of Swords can speak about, somebody in a position of authority, like a policeman, a counsellor, a therapist, a teacher, a lawyer, that kind of thing. So you could be communicating about this Ten of Swords to, somebody in a position of authority. If this King of Swords is an expression of yourself, then you are intellectualizing past experiences that you've brought to an end. And it feels like when you're in the middle of holding this shit up, that's not the time to think about your pain. It's like you need to be very focused in the here and now. As soon as you turn your back to that, as soon as you move on, as soon as you create a safe environment, whether that's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, that's when you can look at your investment. When you're happy, like I say, when you're stable, when you're not worried or concerned about or in the middle of the fight, it almost feels that gives you the space, the time for you to then process what has happened to you in the past. is once you remove yourself from that situation. I always use like an analogy, and it was very much relevant to my own life. It's how I'd explain shit to my friends or people that I was talking to. I'd be like, well, if you get run over, you don't stay lying in the middle of the road. It's like either the cars stop or you get moved out of the middle of the road. So it's like you've got to move yourself out of that precarious situation before you can then even begin the healing process. Right, let's have another layer of this. 3 of Wands, expectation. So something that you've invested in, you're positively expecting a return on this investment. Positively expecting a return on, like I say, the practical investments that you've made, the actions that you've taken. Oh, look at that. 7 of Swords and then the Death card. 7 of Swords and then the Death card. I'm seeing this in 2 ways. Let me pull something. Oh my God. Fucking hell. 5 of Swords. That's not great. To see the 10 of Swords, 5 of Swords, the 7 of Swords. But as I said, this isn't a prediction. I really don't feel that this is a prediction because it's bang smack in the middle of the Death card. Let me just talk about this. And death is an ending, a permanent ending. Permanent ending to the lying, the cheating, the stealing, the, people sneaking around behind your back, being really cunning, strategizing shit. It's a permanent end to that. Permanent end to the mind games, the head fucking, people being prepared to win at all costs, stabbing you in the back. There's a permanent end to all of that shit. A permanent end. Right. Now the 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands is what this is clarifying. So what I mean, it's like you are free from this now. There's an end, there's a transformation. You're either in the point of recognizing that something in your life needs to change, or you've let go, you've liberated yourself. As I was saying, I get such a carefree, happy energy. I feel as though you've liberated yourself from this 7 of Swords energy. And you're now free. Free from all of this bullshit. 5 of Swords clarifying the 10 of Swords. So yeah, I feel as though whatever this experience was, being stabbed in the back, the ultimate betrayal, it mind fucked you. Or it was something that deliberately took place to put you in this mentally unstable energy. And I just feel that you're looking back at all of this shit now, whether that's in acceptance, because we can't deny these things. We can process them, we accept them, we forgive them, we move forward, and we've got moving on. So this very well could be a message that's kind of pointing you in the direction, well, how do you move on? I used to ask that all the time. Well, how do I move on? How do I let this shit go? And the first part, I would say from experience, this isn't the only way, but it's the only way I know how, is to accept. It's to look at the truth of these betrayals, for you to really, to understand it, to learn. I think we started off with saying learning the lesson. This is where you develop your spiritual strength. In not getting lost in the emotion, the feeling of it. It's looking at it clearly, intellectually, as I was saying. Not suppressing your feelings associated, because there is a lot of air energy here. But yeah, this is Scorpio energy, the Death card. That's where the feeling is. Scorpio is that the god of the underworld, all the stuff that goes on below the surface. So I feel as though this was all going on below the surface. This is what needs to be seen. This is what needs a light shone on it. And for some of you where you haven't fully healed this, you may be expecting this new cycle as you move on for you to manifest more of the same. But no, there's a permanent ending being brought to this. Don't project this bullshit into your future. Because if you have a look, the way that the 3 of Wands is looking out over all of this, don't expect for you to experience this in your future if this is something that you've already experienced in your past. This is what I mean about learning the lesson. When we learn the lesson, we don't bring the energy with us into the new cycle. We don't need to repeat the lesson because we fully learnt the lesson. Right, okay. Show me the King of Swords. Show me the King of Swords. Well, this is what builds your spiritual strength. Show me the King of Swords. That doesn't want to go back in. Ace of Wands. Look at that, the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, destiny. And it's so funny because look what's peeking out there, Temperance. Temperance is peeking out. Nobody wants to hear it, but like I say, whatever this experience was that caused you to develop such spiritual strength, it almost feels like, you know, when you're in the gym and you're doing like arms day or even legs day, whatever day you're doing, but you have to rip those muscles in effect to build them up, to make them stronger. And it hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. You're stiff. You know, oh God, I remember times I couldn't even sit on the toilet after doing certain leg days at the gym. I'm like, I can't walk. But in the moment, like I say, it's so painful, but you're building your resilience. You're building your strength. So I feel that that karmic cycle that you were on, that you're moving on from, was to sort of, it was like the heaviest gym session of your life. It ripped every muscle that you had. But it was to build you up. It was to strengthen you. It was, like I say, to develop character, to develop resilience. And it was part of your destiny, because now that the wheel is turning, like I say, the universe doesn't want you to bring this with you. Doesn't want you to bring this with you. It wants you to release it, to let it go, because as this Wheel of Fortune turns, what no longer is in alignment with you falls off the wheel. As you elevate, as you grow, as you step into a new cycle to learn new lessons, you can't bring any of this with you. So this King of Swords is cutting out, like I say, observing, looking at what is no longer in alignment with his truth. And I love to see the Ace of Wands underneath that, because the Ace of Wands is the new beginning. The Ace of Wands is a connection to source or spirit, being led by source, spirit, your angels, your team, the divine, intuitively to go through this process. Some of you may be intuitively guided to, like I say, to make a report, to go to the police, to go to therapy, to go to counselling. I don't know. But some of you may be intuitively being guided here to help you on this, like I say, this releasing, moving on process. Because then we've got Temperance, which is all about alchemy. It's the balancing out of your emotions and feelings. The Temperance card also speaks of karmic situations. So this is all bottom of the deck. So it all is linked to this moving on, this spiritual strength. This is card number 14, reduces down to a 5. 5 is a very challenging energy. And again, it's about learning, it's about loss, it's about conflict, it's about challenge. It's all the stuff, like I say, that was building your spiritual strength up. I feel as though you're highly protected, highly guided with this Ace of Wands in particular. But Temperance is the Earth Angel. It speaks about bringing balance into yourself. With this Wheel of Fortune here, the changes that you've made or how you're moving on is going to help to restore the balance here. It speaks about alchemy, patience. So you may have been in this process, the moving on process, the healing process for a long time, waiting for things to shift or change. You've been patiently waiting. And the time is here. The time is here. Right, I don't even feel I need to clarify any of that. I'm going to pull you some advice and guidance. Let's use this deck. The answer is simple. Oh my God. Right, okay, advice and guidance. I don't want that one. We'll see if it comes back up. It was detox. And if it is a detox, I feel it's a mental detox here with the King of Swords. Like I say, he is the highest manifestation of the sword's energy, the most mature. It's leadership, it's authority, it's taking responsibility. So that may be like a need for a mental detox if you are expecting, like I say, the worst, or people to cheat, people to steal, people to head fuck you, people to stab you in the back. If that is still very much at the forefront of your mind, there very well may need to be a mental detox that happens. Right, show me some advice and guidance for the collective. I should have just took it because I ended up talking about it anyway. We've got lend a hand and rebel. Right, okay. 38, lend a hand. And then we've got rebel. I like rebel. I'm going to read them both if I can. Let me just see how long I've been talking. Here we go. Let's get the book. Oh, like 20 minutes. That's not long. It felt like longer, but I haven't done all the clarifying because it's so easy to get like into a flipping half an hour video sometimes. Right. 30, 30, 30, 30 and 38. Advice and guidance. Right, okay. It says the greatest expression of spirit is to love and to serve others, and your spirit is now called upon to do so. Don't mistake service with rescue. To serve is an act of great spiritual power. Yeah, so there's something that you learn. As I said, lessons learned. If you've been through an experience, as I've just described, I'm not going to go over it. It's time for you to pass pass on or pass it forward, what it is that you learn. Lend a hand. But as it says there, it's not to go out and to do this for other people as you were in the previous cycle. It's to be of service. It's not to rescue. But I think the universe is asking you, once you've complete this process, that it's time for you to pay it forward. It says to serve is an act of great spiritual power, born of love and focused on empowering others. Rescue, on the other hand, is born of a fearful ego and keeps both you and others enslaved to weakness. It says, look around and notice where your spirit is called to serve. Where is there a need to lend a hand? Where is there a struggle that you might help alleviate? Where might you be able to empower others and help them remember their divinity? Open your eyes and heart to notice the opportunities. Discern the difference between service, rescue, love and fear. Don't allow your ego to distract you from true service by rushing in to rescue others without the intention or thought to empower them. Simply do your part to help those around you become stronger in their spirit. Exactly. This was like the biggest spiritual gym workout reading. It's the weirdest thing. Simply do your part to help those around you become stronger in their spirit without judgment or criticism. To serve is to rule, and your service is needed now. And then rebel or rebel. It says it's time for your spirit to rebel from your ego and to take charge of your life. And that's this moving on. There's no one to answer to but your higher self. So yeah, where you felt obligated to prop shit up and hold shit up, you're not obligated to do any of that. Like I say, we live, we learn, and we move forward with what we've learned. So don't beat yourself up if you have been propping up shit, but just allow yourself to move on. It says there's no one to answer to but your higher self. It's time to let go of all past authority figures who still run your inner world and allow your spirit to step into command. Be free of the fear that you carry over from the past, and that's this shit down here. Like I said, don't expect all of that to, to follow you into your new cycle. It says, call to mind all those ghosts from years ago who scared you into submission with their disapproval and their threats. Line them up one by one in your mind's eye and see them shrinking down to human size. Forgive past authority figures for their intimidation and see their divine spirit behind the ego's mask. These are simply people like you who have been scared, who have allowed their egos to scare you. With clarity and your forgiveness, these past authority figures will no longer have power over you. You only answer to the divine and your personal truth. The only question now is, what is your personal truth? And that's exactly what this King of Wands is doing. He's looking back, like I say, at all of that 10 of Swords and saying, well, what is my personal truth? He's clear thinking, he's direct, he's honest, he's logical. So he's going to look back at that intellectually speaking and pull his truth from all of that mess and then move forwards with that new truth. So listen to your spirit for the answers and fearlessly follow this as your ultimate authority. Wow, I'm going to leave that there. That was beautiful. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.